Evening folks, it's BestInSlot. We're back playing a little bit more Planet Zoo franchise mode, and in today's video we're working actually on the penultimate, the second to last exhibit we're going to be doing in Mai Pen Rai, our Thailand, Taiwanese, Asian jungle kind of shebang. Now, just before we talk about what we're going to do in this video, I want to discuss something very quickly. You'll see there's a solar panel here. If we hop over here, you'll see there's a new shop area. Obviously, this would require some decoration. You'll see, I'm going to pause it. You'll see, I believe, yeah, there's a solar panel there, there's a solar panel there. I kind of just put these in as a test. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out how I can make this place profitable. Yeah, we're a conservation thing, we're a wildlife thing, but at the moment I have to go into my other very profitable breeding zoo, sell loads of buy loads of animals for cash, bring them into this zoo, and then sell them. And it's incredibly tedious. It's not enjoyable at all. I'd really like to not be able to do it. I am 100% sure, however, that this zoo can basically literally never become profitable. I had a little look at what was going on and why I wasn't making any money, and I'm pretty sure the reason is literally a lack of donations. So if we go into income, donations, 2 years ago, 55. Last year, 1,500. Average year, 90. That is amazingly low. My little breeding zoo, which I'm going to show you at the end of this video, by the way, because a few people have asked me about that, makes about 44,000 in donations a year, and that's not particularly high, and that's with quite a low guest count. It's a very, very small zoo at the end of the day. I am making no money from donations in the zoo at all, and that is 100% where the huge gap in profit is coming from. The problem is, you enter the zoo, and for this huge walk all the way here, and even here and here, you just don't see any animals. So I thought I'd move the scorpions and get away from the staff areas here, which people were complaining about, which has worked. I thought I'd turn all the education on. If we zoom out, you'll see guest education. You know, I've accepted that one there. I've put electricity behind them all. You know, they're all working now. Nothing matters. I cannot make profit. My only idea really is to A, make this path longer. I don't think that would work. Or B, find a way to move the flamingos here. Or C, indeed turn this area here into an exhibit of some description. We are going to do a saltwater crocodile exhibit. That wouldn't necessarily be the worst place to have one. But I think shut up, world. I think at this point I'm pretty much content with the fact that this zoo is never going to make money. I'm going to stop trying. We're just going to enjoy it for what it is. Like I said, there's only 2 episodes left in this zoo until DLC comes out and adds more animals I think are appropriate. We're going to do the Indian elephant today. I've got a pretty unique idea in mind. And then we're going to finish off with the saltwater crocodile, which is going to be more down towards that direction. So as much as this was worth a shot, at the end of the day, this zoo is just never going to make money. It's just not. It's just not on the cards, folks. I tried. I genuinely really. Oh, hello. I genuinely tried, and it just wasn't meant to be. So screw your education. Screw all that. We're not doing that nonsense. We're done. So screw that. We're going to build a cool Indian elephant exhibit. We're going to build a cool saltwater crocodile exhibit. This place is going to stay a beautiful little gem, relatively untouched by man's dirty hands, which will actually inform the theme of our Indian elephant exhibit. So time-lapse time. Let's give that a go. Here we go then, time-lapse time, our penultimate exhibit, the Indian elephant exhibit. This one was a little bit of a struggle. I thought for a very, very long time about what I was going to do here. I think I sat here staring at the screen for about an hour or something like that, just trying to come up with anything that would give the exhibit something a little bit unique. It had to have something special about it. I can't just make it a regular old exhibit. Maybe when we get to another zoo, you know, we can do fairly more standard builds, but whilst we're here, we've got this huge, open, expansive kind of national park. I wanted to do something a little bit different. Now, whether it turned out well or not is another whole other kettle of fish, really. It's not even a similar kettle of fish, it's just a completely different one. I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet. I'm going to let you figure it out. I'm not going to put it in the title though. Will that ruin everything? It might ruin everything. Anyways, so okay. What we're going to build is basically like a oil drill, gas drill sort of thing. A big machine thingamajiggy that sits in the exhibit and is meant to drill down into the earth and like excavate oil, excavate gas, blah 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 blah. There's my music going. That's for usual. Basically, and I make some decisions I don't really like here, but basically the thinking was, you know, we're in this area, this is a very conservation heavy area, You know, we've talked about how the people in the area are trying to look after these animals. That's why they've opened up the park in the first place, just to make a little bit of money so they can take care of these animals in the first place, stuff like that. And the idea was, so I've mentioned this program before, but there's a documentary called Virunga, which is primarily about gorillas in Africa, but it's about various other things as well, and it's about oil companies and drama, essentially. It's a really good documentary if you haven't seen it already and you care about, you know, animal conservation and animal rights and all that kind of stuff. And one of the big bads, of many big bads in the film, is like an oil drilling. I think it's oil, it might be gas, I can't remember what they're drilling for, but they're drilling, and they're knocking down the rainforest, and they're killing animals, killing animal habitats, and they're drilling for fossil fuels or whatever it is. So that kind of inspired this a little bit, because again, in that there are people who are fighting against this, people who are trying to repel, because this company's got the backing of like a local militia army, and there's people who are sitting there and trying to fight back just to defend the animals more than anything else. So the idea was that, let's say the local wider government who owns like the entire area came in and they gave these people permission to come and dig and blah 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 and ruin the environment for the sake of drilling up oil or gas. I will make a decision eventually, I'm sure. But the locals, you know, the Thailand people from Mai Pen Rai were like, no, we're not standing for this, and they started to fight back. So, you know, the place got abandoned, but their big oil drill thingy was left behind at the end of the day, and it's going to act as like a centerpiece for the middle of the exhibit. I did make it a straight up one, as in it's a perfect square all the way down. A lot of them do tilt inwards, that's definitely the more common form, but this one does exist. I made sure before I built it, because it definitely isn't the most typical looking form. I wish I had spent a little bit more time, although this took bloody ages anyway, and built one that would have, you know, tilted inwards, so it kind of comes to a point near the top, because I think that is what people kind of expect from this kind of thing. But I did have a reference image up. I was trying to get this at least moderately realistic. I really like how this bit looks in a second. I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to get rid of the middle, and we're going to drill right down into it. Look at that. You only see it for a brief second, but it's just a big-ass pit, basically, and I love myself a big-ass pit. So the one thing we have to do is build the drill, basically. The drill, the chain, the hook. I don't really know how they work. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but in the middle there's always a pair of chains, and then like usually it looks like a hook. I don't know what it's hooking, but there's usually a hook in the middle. It was hard work to do, but I am going to build something vaguely similar. We're sticking some little metal ball thingy joints on here at the moment just to make it look a bit more, honestly, more than anything else, just to make it look imposing and metal and evil and corporate and stuff like that. You know, down with the man is what we're going with here, basically. You know, the point is that the locals rebelled against this nonsense. You're going to see a lot of, I spent quite a while here just trying to pick something that I thought would fit well. So I've got like a little thing there that kind of sits between the chains and connects them, and then I believe I used something completely ridiculous. Yes, it's the top of a church. I believe it's like a little steeple. I actually think it looks pretty great. It looks like a drill bit that I've got boof and bosh into the earth. Bosh is an official term, by the way, don't look it up. Bosh. Just doing some general lines here, just like support structures essentially, so the whole thing doesn't look like it's gonna fall over any second now. This is what about half of the video took me, I would say, is building this thing, because we're going to do this, and then we're going to put a ladder on as well, just so our evil humans can get to the top. And that takes bloody ages. But it's all coming together. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. So yeah, I will say, I was struggling with this one. I really was. I was lacking in inspiration entirely. I think it comes together right at the end, as it usually does. Usually when you add the trees and stuff like that. The Indian elephants themselves are awesome. You know, they came in, they had no problems, they didn't escape. They're beautiful. There's 6 of them as well. They can all like live together in big groups. They look really cool. So no matter what the exhibit looks like, at least the elephants are very, very cool. And here we go. This is ladder time now. As I was building this, I thought it looked okay. You know, that's a ladder, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's a ladder. When you, I'm gonna put like a little car abandoned next to this thing later on, and some little like insulated temporary workspaces. You will see those in a little bit as well. When you add those, the ladder looks absolutely huge. I didn't realize like the scale of what I was doing here was so much bigger than the size of what a human would be in this universe. The ladders are way too big, but I think they look cool, and that's more important. I did genuinely think about how somebody would climb up this thing, You'll see it in a second. Like, so you're gonna go up, gonna walk around. You're gonna walk around this side bit, and then when you get up there, it doesn't just connect on because that doesn't make sense. It kind of comes out, and then there's a gap. If that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. Hopefully in a second. I always found the ladder really annoying to make for some reason. So yeah, it kind of, I pushed the floor out to the side, so you can see right there. So then you'd climb up, and because you're climbing up from the inside, kind of thing. So you'd climb up, and then you'd kind of already be inside the building still. The point was to reduce exposure and chances of falling to your death. All those minor things. And I got a bit bored of that, so I did a simple one for the top floor, to be honest. And the top floor one is actually the only one that makes sense. This one is the only one that looks suitable for human use. So, there we go. There it is. It ended up okay. It definitely needed more work than this. We are going to add some stuff. I had to look for different things we could add that would make it look more like a random building, a little bit more technical, a little bit more sciencey, a little bit more just developed, and, you know, like it's got interesting things on it. Because at this point it was a little bit just boring and flat. I wanted it a bit more interesting. I would have liked to have, like, tarps draped over it and a lot more in the way of random stuff just to make it feel more like a machine, but at the end of the day that wasn't there. So my theory was if I just stuck random stuff on, I can just pretend it's a machine, right? Like, it doesn't have to exactly match a real one. It can be one that we've made up in our heads. This is the base, and yeah, I think it's come a long way in just the past couple of minutes. The ladders and developing the bottom a little bit does quite a lot for it. We're also going to bring in some transformers. These are the engines fueling the whole thing. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm really hoping they break down so we can get some smoke and dust and stuff like that, and kind of have a, I don't know, just more represent like this thing has been broken down. Not only have the locals fought against it, but the elephants themselves, like, yo, you are ruining my house, how dare you? And they're not happy about the whole situation, basically. I like it. There you go. There's a really good view of that. It's grown on me. I'm not sure it looks like what I wanted it to look like in particular, but I think it looks like a big bad metal thing. We are going to lean into this a little bit harder in a second, basically via the terrain work and the foliage work and the painting of the terrain and stuff like that. One of my ideas for this, the only idea I had actually until I thought of that thing from the get-go, was to have like a little glass viewing area at the side in the mountain and have it kind of like a blind, when you're observing animals in the wild, to the point where I wanted it to be so covered in foliage and stuff that it didn't really look like to the elephants you weren't there, we were just part of the environment essentially. There's our little staff path. I can speak English. I can totally speak English. Yeah, little car in the middle, lovely stuff. This is in two parts. Like I said, I was in a bit of a struggle. I think I did about half in 1 hour and a half. It's about 2.25 hours this build in total, something like that. I'd say most of my builds are about 2 hours if you ignore everything else around them. Sometimes up to about 3. I don't think I've done any particularly longer than that. Not Mai Pen Rai. What was my big house called? I actually can't remember. The big glass thing. That probably took a little bit longer. Oh, I think it was about 3 hours. Anyways. Yeah, just working on viewpoint. The idea is, of course, around this area, they knock down all the trees, using it as fuel, using it just to clear the area so they could put their own stuff in more than anything else. It's just, we need to work here, let's go to the trees and set up like a little base, essentially, and that's what you've got there as well. One thing I actually really like about this, I was going to put stuff on them, but they look like they're covered in insulation, like the buildings around the outside, and if you had like a temporary building somewhere, because these aren't permanent, these are meant to be not disposable, but you're meant to bring them along, live in them as you're doing work or doing your management, and then when the project's over, you'd transport them away. I promise I was meant to be English. Transport them away. The whole idea is like portable living accommodation for projects like this. So I left them uncovered. The idea is they're very basic and stuff like that. They should be able to move. We're going to put like a bit of a barrier around the outside. We've got a fence around the outside and some lights, just to make the whole thing feel a little bit more like a work zone, essentially. Lots of dead trees. The ground around there is, primarily soil. And one thing you're really going to see when it comes to using the foliage in the rest of this place, and I know I don't need an excuse to go overboard on the trees, but I went really hard on the plant life on the left-hand side of the exhibit, and then have it reach the fencing, and then become way, way, way thinner. The idea being just that. Alright, this is all useless. But the idea is, like, nature's trying to break through back and like reclaim the land that was taken from them, kind of thing. I saw this image of an Indian elephant exhibit, like an Asian elephant exhibit, whatever you want to call it. And they had this like rock wall with waterfalls coming down it, and it was really, really pretty. And I tried to build it, and the problem with it is, it ends up looking fine. I mean, we're going to spend about 10 minutes building this bloody thing, even though it gets entirely deleted. It ends up looking okay, but it takes up too much room. We've already lost quite a lot of the exhibit to this big thing on the right hand side, and I don't think the exhibit needs two big sort of central things. We do end up putting in a little waterfall because I'm obsessed with waterfalls, and it actually kind of makes sense. People, okay, I've done a lot of waterfalls, I've done a lot of chasms and stuff like that, but we're trying to build one big area I don't want it to feel homogenous. I want every area to feel different, but each region should have bits of the other regions in it. You know what I mean? It should feel like it's all one big area with individual little bits that are a little bit different, but they don't feel like they're taken from something else entirely. I swear I can speak English. I speak England real good. Anyways, the point is it took up too much room and it took up too much focus. It wasn't needed. It looks fine. It looks kind of like what I had in mind. It just... my elephants needed more room, and I wanted it to have much more of a foresty feel rather than this big rock wall. And we're going to do something like this down the line. Look, we're going to come back. We're going to have African elephants down the line. Maybe twice. We shall see. After this, only one exhibit to go. That's the saltwater crocodile. And then, God only knows. I have no idea what we're doing after this zoo. I really don't. We've got 2 more Asia zoos to do, but we obviously don't want to do another Asia zoo already. I suspect we're doing Africa, but we'll see. There you go, there's a nice look. This is the point I was sitting there thinking, well, kind of thinking it over a little bit. Chuck some rocks in there, because everyone loves rocks. Rocks make the world go round. The Earth is a big rock. Making rocks the best. There we go. Oh, no, put it back. There we go. We've decided. Now, that little rock I just tried to kill, that one right there, that took me about 3 hours to figure out. It's not a rock, it's a piece of ground that I've painted with rock and is shaped perfectly like a rock. Okay, that little bit in the sky right there. I spent ages trying to delete that, and I could not for the life of me realise why, and it's simply that. It's not a rock, it's a piece of terrain. I kept trying to manually delete it. It just happens to look like a rock. Fun times! Crazy YouTube shenanigans, eh? Crazy. Now it's time for trees. Now it's time for many, many trees. The thing is, I've gone hard on the trees, but I think a lot of my exhibits aren't actually that foliage covered. They tend to be very foliage heavy around the outside, but the orangutan exhibit is very open in the middle, the tiger exhibit is very open in the middle, the Komodo dragon exhibit is for obvious reasons. This one I really did want to feel a little bit more like you're in a dense forest, especially at the left hand side. Now that wasn't really because I feel I've neglected foliage, because that would be madness, but really because I wanted to emphasise the difference between the two halves of the exhibit. This foliage heavy bit on the left, and this dead area, this burnt earth approach they've taken on the right hand side. Scorched earth, I should say. I'm sorry. Mama. I don't know. Drop a couple of things in every now and again. There's actually a little bit... You're going to see it later on, but the elephant walks over a bit of the construction work that I put on the left, and it looks really... I love these elephants. They've honestly, the Indian elephant has become one of my favourite animals in the entire game. It's so cool. More than the African as well. I love the African, but the Indians are so much more interesting in terms of their textures and their colours and stuff like that. The Africans are big and grey, and they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but the Indians are pink and yellow and creamy, and I love a creamy elephant, Who doesn't love a creamy elephant? Nerds, that's how. So... You'll see every now and again some of the plants kind of break through the barrier. Most of the time they're kind of like pushed right up against it. And sometimes they're starting to creep through and kind of reclaim the area. I liked the idea of having the whole thing kind of overgrown. Kind of like in... I did a workshop highlight video the other day. And I showed the abandoned city. It was this incredible, absolutely incredible build someone did. I was showing that off. But... What was I saying? Oh, my words. Oh, so many words. Yeah, yes, it looks really, really good, and it looks like it's overgrown. The whole thing's overgrown. It's really, really cool. I wanted to do something like that, but because I'm limiting myself 99% to Asian tropical plants and nothing else, it just wasn't going to work. The only time in this entire park I haven't used Asia tropical is for the trees, and that's because I wanted a variety of dead trees, basically. Everything with leaves is Asian tropical, and that's what's important. Gonna get ourselves a little waterfall. Can't resist a little waterfall. Cannot resist. I will do, I promise, a waterfall-less park. One of my parks will be sans all waterfalls, and it's gonna upset me greatly. Yeah, just really want to feel this like lush little environment. You know, dabs of green underneath the plant life. Lots and lots and lots and lots of plant life. It took a long time for me to learn to like this exhibit. I think adding the elephants is what kind of turned me around to it a little bit. You know, the animals, they just suit it perfectly. I'm a little bit burnt out, like, because of this style, and we've done the same style like quite a few times with different changes. I'm getting a little bit burnt out on it, but I'm really excited about the saltwater crocodile. I have no idea what we're going to do for it at all, ish, but I'm excited about it. What is going on? Yeah, trees. Many, many trees. I warned you. it's just foliage. It's not turtles all the way down. It's foliage all the way down. And there's a lot of tree bushes in this video. I know some people aren't the biggest fan of the tree bush. I think you're crazy, personally. I think the game is far lacking in bushes too much, not to have tree bushes. But I will say these, I don't know what they're called. It's like Corsola, which I'm pretty sure is a Pokemon. I don't know what they're called. It begins with a C, and I think those low to the ground, sort of tepid green, milky, I don't want to call it milky green, but kind of milky green bushes, they've grown on me a lot. I wasn't a big fan, but I will say I've started to turn around, and you see one just behind the tree there. You see one just in front of the fence. I had to do a little thing. Now, I know that these are not... We're going to put these down. Someone's going to yell at me. I know these are not Indian elephants, okay? I know these are African. But the Indian elephant is totally neglected in this game. It really is. It gets no love whatsoever. African stuff makes up like 70% of this game's decorations, so we've had to use the Indian one. I did use the one with small tusks. I think it's meant to be the female, but if you use the one with small tusks, that kind of looks more like an Indian anyway, so... Yeah, just grabbing some stuff to, little bits sticking in there, just little bits that have been left behind, or picked up by the elephants, you know, as it starts to fall apart. I haven't done it yet, but I am considering maybe tearing apart the thing a little bit, you know, taking some off the brick off, taking some of the little bits off, just so it looks like it's falling apart just a little bit more than it does right now. The problem is the construction in this game is actually annoyingly limited. If it's a proper construction item, like say a wall, you can't rotate it. I can't put it on its side. It has to be vertically standing no matter what. You can rotate it horizontally, but you can't rotate it vertically, or what's the diagonally would be the word. I was going to say, what's the word for diagonally? It's diagonally, oddly enough. You can't rotate it in any of those directions. You can only rotate it along the x-axis, basically. Annoyingly, because it really limits our construction. I'm hoping that's something that changes down the line. You can see I've gone pretty hard on the foliage. Yeah. I really had a little idea here, though, to do like a little bit of a trail going through, because as the elephants move through the jungle, they eat the plants, they're stomping around, they would create natural areas where there's slightly less plants, more dirt, stuff like that. Anyways, that is the end of the time-lapse. So, you're going to get a really good look at the exhibit in a minute, you're going to get a really good look at the 6 Indian elephants we had, and a little baby Komodo dragon as well. So, enjoy! Oh, also, I'm going to show you my breeding zoo. Right then folks, here we go. It is Indian elephant time. The exhibit is pretty much ready. All I've done since you saw me last is add this, my big coming soon wall. It looked a little dumb being able to look out and see like the entire expanse of the park beyond. Where the idea is, as we've talked about before, as new animals get added to the game, as new Asian tropical animals get added specifically, we're going to want to expand the zoo, and this rainforesty bit is one of the bits that's going to get expanded quite heavily. So is all these bits on the side, but we still have to do the saltwater crocodile. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do in the next episode. So I will do my coming soon sign over there after the crocodile, but I thought that was a nice way to kind of... I'm really excited to see what this looks like when the whole thing is finished, but that's going to take lots of DLC. Anyway, so you walk through, I'll do a little staff only section as well. Actually, we'll grab, whilst we're here, let's grab that. You can come with me, staff only sign. You hop down here, put down lots of trees and stuff. Nice and chill, coming soon. I will put some trees here as well. And then this will be staff only. I'll just stick that there for now, that's fine. Come on, no, you're not allowed to be in the wall though. That's the deal, okay? Come on. There we go. My little staff only section. It needs a little bit more work. I don't know what the What the blimmin' is going on there? I've made the pyramids. This is how the pyramids were actually made. But otherwise, everything's looking pretty okay. We've got my little elephant, which is adorable. Get a little bit of a sightline there, which I quite like, and then this is the proper one. I know these are African elephants. I'm sure I'm going to mention this in the time-lapse as well. But, well, Indian elephants kind of get neglected. Like everything that isn't African gets neglected. And then we get this really nice view. I love how that looks. I was really iffy on this exhibit for a long time. But I've kind of turned around on it. Now, it's elephant time, so let's hop into our storage. I believe I have 3 of them. 4 of them? Wait, they're all males. Is that okay? I think I checked this. I think it's fine. I'd like to get some more females, though. I'd really like an exhibit with tons of animals, because I so rarely get that opportunity. 3 to 5 males, 3 to... We actually need more females, if possible. I've got tons of CC, so I'm not really worried about spending it. I've got 3 males. Let's try to get 3 females as well. This is going to look great. We're going to have 6 elephants wandering around this exhibit. That's going to be really cool. Hopefully we get some babies. I'm a little... I was going to say concerned about the size, but it's a pretty good size, I would say. Okay. Whilst we're doing that, I'm also going to train my elephant keeper. The Dust Boy's keeper. There we... Oh, no, I'm not allowed. Excuse me. Okay, let's see if we can get a couple more females. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Ugh. Ugh. You're okay. I'm looking for young ones. There we go. They're both pretty good. Sweet. I don't need golds or anything like that. That's not a big deal. Bum ba dum ba dum. Bum ba dum ba dum. Sorry. Trade center. That's the last one. There we go. 6 Indian elephants. I'm hype about this. I think they're going to look really cool in here. Yeah, I need to restart the game and hopefully that floating rock will disappear. Oh wait, no, it's not rock. I was trying to delete this as though it was rock. No wonder it wasn't working. There we go. It just perfectly looked like a rock to me. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Okay. Oh, right. Before we do that, let's get some research on the go. Oh, hello. Okay, Komodo dragon needs love. Orangutan needs... Oh, we don't have the elephant yet. Soon, though. Soon. And I will level up some humans in the meantime. My vet. Didn't I hire another vet? Oh, Michelle, you're meant to be working with the Dust Boys. What's going on? Broken barrier? Oh no. Oh no. Mechanics being requested already. Who's this for? That's the orangutans. Everything's terrible. Everything is terrible. That's okay. It really is. There we go. Slow down time. Our brand new Look at him go! Oh right, yeah, that's actually one thing we need to do is make sure the elephants can't escape as my orangutan has done a runner. This zoo is a disaster. I love this place. It's really cool, but it is also a utter blimmin' disaster. Right, okay, I mean, that's not bad. I'll take that straight up. Environment's pretty great. Terrain is a tiny bit more short grass and we're okay. Teeny tiny bit. I really don't want to go over the top on this. I'm going to lower that intensity down. Teeny tiny bit. Teeny tiny bit. Teeny tiny bit. I've got some areas of long grass. There we go. Perfect. Right, yeah, they're pretty happy. Tons and tons of space, which is really good. Enough hard shelter, not an amazing amount. Enrichment is obviously going to be the issue. Can we do anything about that straight up? Let's find out. I is for Indian. There you go, just teaching you the alphabet as we go. Oh, sweet. Okay, I did nothing. I really like this thing, actually. I'm going to put this in there. Is that crazy? No, I'm going to put it at the... We'll have like a natural one, but then we'll have like this one here that they can walk through in order to get in. Stop doing that. I love these things though, they're very cool. Actually adorable. I've got to say, I am a bigger fan of Indian elephants than I am of African. I don't know if that's blasphemous at all, but they are adorable. They're teeny tiny little ears. Little baby tusks. They are so cute. And the colouring is really good. I love this like mottled pink look down the trunk and on the ears. I'm really excited about this exhibit. Okay, yeah. Let's make sure they can't break out first of all. Looking good. There's disasters going on all around the park other than here, but that's oh, how do my Komodo dragons keep escaping? Oh, that's okay. I think they're in. Wait, well, you can get up there. Huh, interesting. Just gonna spend a little time enjoying them, basically. Oh, we should get some food in here as well. Where are my feeders? Call keeper en route. Now that is, I believe, I think I've assigned him only to this exhibit, so he should be pretty good at this. Let's make sure he's going to get food. That's all I need. Now, he's going to go clean first. It's fine. It's fine. As long as he ends up doing the right thing, that's okay. I do want to spend a little bit more time in these videos actually observing. Yeah, that's thing. I love them. I really do. Oh, she's on the other side of the fence. See, that to me right there, that looks really depressing. That looks like, you know, these really negative, very abusive, basically, sort of treatment that the Indian elephants do get in some places. You know, a lot of people want to go to Thailand and like ride on the back of the elephants and stuff like that. If you're considering that, can I just say, like, I know most people know this, but don't do it. It's not good for the elephants, but it's everything behind the industry that's worse. The elephants are not kept well, they're not looked after. It's not sanctuary, it's not looking after the elephants. It's a for-profit thing. It's like a zoo, basically. It's no better, really. Zoos are not a zoo. Zoos are fine. Circuses. Don't go to the circus with animals either, but that should really go without saying. But I like that. I like that it's got that. I really, really wanted to emphasise the gap between the nature and the sort of horrendousness on the other side. Really, that's what matters. I've still got that hanging around there in the distance. Big and imposing, but yes. Yes. They're in the water thing. Makes them slightly damp, as you would expect. It's my two lasses. Beside each other, which is fun for the family. I mean, the eyes. Look at the little eyelashes. Adorable. Right, there's three of them. Let's see if we can find all the elephants. Let me just do that. So there's 1, 2, 3. He's having a little play with the sprinklers. Getting nice and juicy. I hate the word juicy. To describe anything other than fruit, juicy is the worst word. Like a person should not be juicy, because that implies that when you bite them, they squirt out liquid. I hate the word juicy. I'm just pointing this out there, just so you know. Wait, that doesn't have any food. Does the other one have any food? Has he put food in the exhibit? Would that be asking? Of course, I was asking too much. What am I on about? I really want to see this with some baby elephants, so hopefully, given a little bit of time, that happens. Where's my keeper? Is he going to do his job? Why is he cleaning the habitat? Give them some bloody food, you big old numpty. Hello, gorgeous. Who have we got? Niharika. Who else have we got? I just want to live with them. I just want to see what they're doing constantly. Now, you are allowed to break this barrier, just so you know. I think that'll actually look really cool if we do. If this like deteriorates over time and it looks all broken down. I'm hoping for the exact same thing with the transformers as well. Get some smoke going and stuff like that. That'd be awesome as well. I really like that there. I mean, it makes sense. I did the thing. I really like that they're staying over here on the right-hand side as well, you know, where all the foliage is. They're really ignoring this area in general, which makes a lot of sense, but it's cool. I suppose I should stop ignoring all the problems all over my park, but... Oh, this actually... I wasn't convinced about this exhibit in a lot of ways, but I think the elephants sell it, if that makes sense. I think just the presence of the elephants makes it feel like what I wanted it to feel like, you know? Look at him walking over this, like this little abandoned... Yes! Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I have to get very close. What the hell's my green screen filter? Okay, well, folks. We are going to end it there then. Only one more episode in this national park to go. Completely forgot. A little bonus at the end, folks. As promised, I'm going to show you guys my breeding zoo. It is super, super, super simple. I got a little lazy over here on the right, as you can see. This is it. It is a long line with some exhibits and some shops and some staff buildings. That is literally it. This building exists to do nothing other than to make me money, to make me conservation credits, and it does that job pretty well. I think I could definitely have higher income, but really I am focused on the conservation. I will show you very quickly what I've got. I've got a little aardvark paddock here. Don't really want to call it a paddock, a shed. Aardvarks are okay. Again, I built this right at the start when I was buying like dollar animals to then breed and sell to hopefully get CC animals and therefore make more money. So I could really get rid of the aardvarks at this point, but they're cute. I kind of, they're cute. They don't really take much effort. I kind of keep them anyway. Likewise over here, I have 2 exhibits with grizzly bears, including some bears. Oh, many better look at the little floof. Sorry, a couple of exhibits of grizzly bears. Same idea. They were a $1 animal, easy to breed. So it was pretty. Look at him go. Sorry, it was pretty easy just to breed some little baby grizzly bears and flog those for money. Likewise, the saltwater crocodile. Now, the saltwater crocodile was actually a mistake, just because. Oh my god, that's so many. Look, that's terrifying. All the little babies. The babies take so long to mature that even though you get tons of them and they're not really worth much, saltwater crocodile was a mistake in terms of breeding. But because in our franchise playthrough our next exhibit is going to be saltwaters, what I'm going to do is take some saltwaters from this exhibit and bring them over to the main zoo, which I think is pretty cool. Over here we have 2 tiger exhibits. Look at the little chunk on the move. There we go. Again, same idea. These ones were worth a little bit more. Of course, I buy like gold level tigers for maybe 1,000 to 2,000 CC, but every time you release a gold tiger into the wild, you get like 1,100 points. Now, I got the tigers specifically because it was good for the community challenge, but these really are the major source of all of my CC points at this point in time. No, so adorable. Anyways, so the new challenge, and I'm going to show you the rewards for this next episode, hopefully, is to release, not breed, that's a key unfortunate difference, release Western Lowland gorillas into the wild. So I've got my new exhibit over here, which is a gorilla exhibit. The poles are to satisfy their climbing need, and I've got 1 alpha male, Ziad, who is gold, and then I've got a bunch... Oh, I've got a bunch of females knocking around as well. One of them is gold. I did splash the cast. Saber is gold. She will have a few more babies. But basically, I've got a male and then a few females, and they're going to pump out the kids. I'm going to release those to the wild as well. I'm not convinced I'm going to make money on this because A, we have to release them to the wild, so we can't sell them, which usually is okay, but gorillas at the moment are selling for an absolute fortune. We're talking like 5,000 plus for a gold at the least, where I was picking up tigers for about 400 at one point. So the gorillas are quite expensive. So really I'm just hoping to release lots of kids to the wild, complete the challenge, and then this may not stick around as a money zoo. We'll have to see if the market settles down a little bit later on. It makes decent profit, nothing amazing, because again, that's not really a focus, but enough that I can buy cash animals and then sell them in my other franchise zoo. And that's about it, folks. That is my breeding zoo. This is all it takes, honestly. Nothing more than this. It is super simple. You need shops. Well, you don't even need shops. You need a couple of... You need to replace these. You need to pay attention and replace those. You need donation bins. You need... exhibits right next to the path with windows, and that is it for a breeding zoo. It's not meant to look pretty, it's not meant to be cool, it's just meant to get the job done, and it does that. Okay, now I'm gonna go. Thank you for joining me. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/BestInSlot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.